Hi guys, in this video I'm going to explain how to reverse a sentence, or rather let me just say we're going to create an application that will reverse words in a sentence. I've done this before and I received some complaints, or rather some comments that the video that I did does not, the text is not visible and I didn't zoom enough and I didn't think that far, but that's the great thing about learning. We learn, we make mistakes, and then we learn. So I will do the video again and then I'll explain everything again, but I'm pretty sure this time is going to be more brief like than before, because in the previous video when I did it I had to remind myself, and so now my memory of reversing was this words in a sentence is more fresh, so I'll be more quick than before, but then I won't compromise explaining how the thing is done. How the program is done. So let me begin first of all by explaining my user interface. So it'll be brief. So here we have a label which acts like a button. The idea here is that when the user selects this label here, which at this point normally it acts like a button, the application will terminate. And there's a label here, and the label tells the user that this is where they will enter the sentence that they wish to reverse. And this is the text box here. In this text box, the user will put in the input here. The user will put in the sentence that they wish to reverse here. This is also a label that tells the user that this is a button, that as soon as they click this button, the sentence that they've entered will be reversed. And this is where we will write or print our output. This also an input box, and I've made it a read-only. It's a read-only. Yes, I want to make it a read-only so that the user cannot edit or do whatever they want to do. So yeah, it's fine. That's pretty much how it looks. And so let me run it and just briefly demonstrate what's going to happen. Okay, I'll be waiting right now. Okay, let's see. Oh, we're still waiting. Yeah, I'm using an old PC, but it shouldn't be a train smash. It works well. Well, I think I'm gonna terminate you. What's the issue here? What's going on? Okay, I forgot that I've opened this thing directly from my USB, my thumb drive, and so, but it shouldn't be a problem because it seems like it's compiling well here. I don't know why it has to say terminating. Okay, but it's fine. Let's have it do this so that when we run it again, hopefully everything will be stored in cache memory and it'll be easier to call it back again. Listening to me sound fancy, hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's see. Okay, it's coming. Yeah, we have to bag it first, so I can't drag this window anywhere, but then it's fine. I just like it like this sometimes. So the idea is that the user will enter the sentence here. In this case, hi, we are testing this, and then they will enter this button here. Upon entering the button, we should get something here. Oh, I can't type anything. We should get something here on this text box, right? We should get this whole sentence here reversed. But remember, we want to reverse the words in the sentence, not the whole sentence. So yeah, keep that in mind. So yeah, this should terminate, closed, and that's fine. So now the main thing that's going to reverse the sentence is this on-click button here. As soon as this button is clicked, everything should start to reverse. So it's an on-click event. Oh wow, that's huge. Okay, so for that, there was a moving vehicle. There was a flying machine above the air somewhere in the sky. Okay, let's come back here and quickly. So remember, I said I want to be brief doing this. So the first thing that we need to do in fixing this thing is, let's try, first of all, if you want to do this right, try to reverse a word. If you can reverse a word, then you can create a pattern that you will use to reverse the sentence, because remember, a sentence is made up of words. So first of all, let's reverse a word. So the first thing that we need to do to reverse a word, we need to obtain the word. So to obtain the word, we will obtain the word from this edit box here. Okay, I think I double clicked there. So the name of this edit box, or rather the name of this text box, you can tell that I come from was this C++ builder. Okay, so the name of the text box here is text reverse. So we have text reverse here, and we actually want the text inside this thing. And let's create a string. Inside this string, that's where we will store this text inside. So let's call it a sentence. And that makes sense. So yes, we have a sentence here. And so remember, a string is an array of characters. Okay, let me write it down. A string is an array of characters. Now this is good information, because if we have a string such as Shiko Matlala, that's me, we will have, if we set as an array, we will have, meaning that we'll have indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This white space character here is also an index. 5, I mean, it's a character. 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, blah 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 blah. So that's pretty much how it looks. And then after we have the index, we'll have the length. The length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now remember, don't confuse the length with the index. The length counts the number of characters. The index shows, or rather specifies, the position of the character in the string or in the array. So we know the position of this character here in the array is 3, if I'm using the right terminology here, and the length of this character here is 4. You know, if you want to find the length of this character here, we know it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 4th character in the array. And so what we want to do here, remember, we want to reverse a word. In other words, what we want to do now, see, we have Shiko, right? We want to say, we want to reverse, what's this, a word. We need to start from the end of the word. That's something like that. And so knowing that we want to start from the end of the word, it means our index in the word will look something like this: 0, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's pretty much what we're doing. We're saying, okay, the index starts from 1 until this, and now we want to reverse. Instead of starting from 1, this time we want to start from 4. And so we know, using this, we can simply create a for loop that will reverse. Instead of going forward, it will go backwards. For int x, okay, nope, and x is equals to, okay, sentence dot length x plus plus, no, x is less than, until x is greater than 0, x plus plus. Okay, this is wrong here. No, x minus minus rather. I don't know why I had to say x plus plus. Okay, so what this means here is that in the beginning of this loop here, the value of x will be 4. Remember, when we request the length of this thing, we said it's different. We said we have the length, which is this one, and then we said we have the index, which is this one, and then we said the length of this string here, Shiko, is 5. This is where it is. And so in the beginning, the value of x will be 5, and then loop as long as the value of x is greater than 0. So which means it will loop until the value of x is equal to 1. And then it will loop from 5, move to 4, move to 3, move to 2, move to 1, and then that's when the loop will terminate. And so when it does this, then we want to create, let's create a new string and call this reversed. Yeah, you can just call this reversed. I made it an empty string, so we can then say reversed. And what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to increment to the string. And what I mean by that, remember, I can add a character to the string. This should work fine. And so what I want to do, essentially, I want to do something like this. Each time the string loops, I want to extract, remember, we're going to reverse, so we're going to start from 4. I want to take this character, increment it to here. And then on the second loop, I want to take the same character, implement it to here, add it to the string, and then so on and so on, until we end up having a string such as, which means we're going to have a string that is reversed. So that's what we're trying to do. So how do we go about doing that? So we have reversed, and then I'll have sentence, and then I'll say x minus 1. The reason why I say x minus 1 is because, remember, the length of the string here is 5. It's 5 units. In other words, 5 characters. But then the index ends at 4. The index of the string ends at 4. So that's pretty much what we're trying to do. So if we have 5 here, it's going to start to extract from the white space character, which means if we only had a string like this, and all this other guy here was not there, all these other things were not here, and we started from 5, it was going to give us an error. Why? Because there's nothing here. It's going to say, but then there's no string here, and therefore there's an error that it was going to give us. Yeah, I think the error, let's try to see what the error is called. I think it's called an index error. Yeah, I think it's called an index error. Anyway, I said I wanted to be brief. It's going to give us an index error. And so because we're trying to extract something that is not there, I'm trying to go to the string and I'm saying, hey, give me index number 5. And there's no index number 5. Because in other words, there's no index number 5. So it's going to give me, so it's going to say, well, there's an index error here. You're requesting something that I don't have. Okay. So that's the first part of reversing. What this loop here is going to do essentially is going to reverse. But then here comes another, okay, yeah, it should reverse. Yeah, it should reverse. So let's try to see. And then let's try to output whatever that we just reversed. We're going to put it inside this text box. It's called text reverse. And then we'll have text reversed. The text is equals to reversed. And let's see. So yeah, it should be fine like this. It shouldn't be a train smash really. So if I put in the word Chico, it should reverse it to this string, whatever that it means. It should reverse it to that. Okay, so let's see. Chico. Okay, it did what it's supposed to do. It reversed the word. And so how do we now reverse words in a sentence? Remember, now we have a pattern here. What we just did, okay, we just reversed. What we just did, we reversed a word. So now if we can find a way to cut this word and then repeat the process again. In other words, if we have a string by the name which contains Shiko Matlala, we can say, okay, we know something that breaks a word, and that's a white space character, right? We know that this is a word, and then when it gets here, it reaches a white space character, therefore the word is broken now. We can extract this word, and then this word, or in other words, we can even count the number of words by seeing how many times there is a white space character between two words. This is one thing that we can do. And so what we're going to do here is essentially we have this word here. The word is Shiko. And then we have another word here. The word is Matlala. And so, yeah, let's go about doing this. Okay, so with what I said, okay, let me rather do this way. So the first thing here is that we have, okay, what am I doing here now? Let me just take this and put it here. I'm struggling to put my words together here. Sometimes it's not hard to explain. It's just like, okay, let me just explain. Let me just speak and do work. Okay. For int x, come on, bro. For int x is equals to text sentence dot text. No. I want the length of the sentence. Rather, I don't know why I had to say that. On the length of the sentence, x is greater than 0. Pretty much, we're doing this whole thing here again. I should have just done a copy paste thing. And then we'll have reversed plus is equals to sentence x minus 1. Okay, I explained why we use x minus 1. Text reversed text. Okay, well, this doesn't really mean anything, but no. I think let me just rather use a show message. Message box dot show, and then I'll just put here reversed. Then I can do the same thing here. Message box dot show reversed. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is, because we've established a pattern, we said we want to extract this word, reverse it. After reversing it, we want to remove it, and then we'll be left with this word. We want to extract it, reverse it, and then remove it. While we do that, we want to, okay, nothing's changed now, because let me rather say this is reverse word. And yes, let me create a find and replace everything that's here and make it reverse word. Okay, so I've replaced every reversed variable to a reverse word. So that's the first thing. Remember, we want to reverse an individual word, and then after doing that, we want to create another string called reverse sentence. Now, after we reverse a word, we're gonna take that word. Say, for instance, we reverse this word, Shiko is to be whatever that is written here. We're gonna take this string, whatever that this thing here is, then we're gonna increment it, or rather, we're gonna add it into this reverse sentence. And after we do this again, so in other words, we reverse a word here. Like I said, we reverse a word, we remove it, and then we move on to the second word. Okay, let's see. But then to do that, how do we know which word we're going to reverse? Because in this case, we're going to reverse each and every single word. So now we need to break the sentence into words. How do we do that? Well, we know something that's very simple. Okay, this is a sentence. Okay, yeah, well, this is a sentence, yeah. We can say reverse word, right? So equals to sentence. We're going to say in this sentence, let's find, I think it's index of. Index. let's find the index of a specific value. Yes, let's find the index of a white space character. Remember, we get something like Shiko Matlala. So if we can find this index here, then we can extract from here to here, and then reverse the word, put it here, and then delete the word and be left with Matlala, and repeat the process again and again and again until we finish reversing every word in the sentence. Let me undo quick. Okay, so then this index of here, we can create an integer and call it the position. Just position of the white space character in here. How many characters are here? Okay, it's only a single white space character. Okay, yeah. Okay, and then if we know the index of this guy here, then we can substring. We can control what we extract. Why am I trying to write that intense? Okay, we can control what we want to extract from this sentence here. So in this case, we want to extract beginning from the starting index, which is 0, all the way to the length. Now, the length here, I will use the position. Okay, the length. Remember how I said this is the length here. The number of characters is the length. So should I put +1? Because remember, we're gonna get 5, but the length here is 6. Constant number of characters. The length here is 6. Then I also say here I'm gonna get the value 5. We shall learn. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, we're gonna substring this word, and so which means now we're gonna take the reverse word and put it inside here, and then when we're done here, we're going to take the sentence, and then I think it's fair that we can just delete or remove rather. I think it's fair that we can remove, starting from the index 0 to count. I'll use the word position here. Okay. But remember, as it removes, it returns what it removed. I mean, it returns if I say remove from here to here, the final function, the remove function, will then return the surname, Matlala. And so I'll say sentence is equals to that. I feel like I zoomed a lot and I can't see very clear. And that's better. I don't know how good that is. Okay, that's way too small. Let me go back to this, just for the sake of safety. Okay, a good thing, I think my screen is large enough to be able to do this. Okay, so it looks very visible now. Okay, so we removed from, okay, let me comment out this one. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Initially, we have the word, we have Shiko Matlala. That's what we have initially. And we substring, or rather we subtract this guy here. After we subtract that name Shiko, we reverse it. After we reverse it, we remove it from the main sentence, which means we are now left with Matlala inside sentence, which means here we will now be left with Matlala. Yes, we'll be left with Matlala, and then we reverse the word. Here it is, and then here we want to output what we just reversed. So let's see. Say Banzer. Sugar Matlala. Okay, what did just happen here? It seems like we had more than one loop inside here, because let's see, we have Shiko, which is here. Okay, we have Shiko, which is here. And then we have the surname. It seems like it reversed everything. Okay, let's see what's the problem. Okay, let me try to see what went wrong. Okay, so I have reverse word, I have string reverse sentence, I have string sentence, blah 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 blah. I have assigned whatever that the user enters, the input. Was this? The input that the user puts in, the user input. I've assigned it to this word. I've assigned it to this variable here, sentence, and then inside this sentence, I find the index of the white space character, which is Shiko. Which is here. This is the white space character, or the space that divides Shiko and Matlala. So that's what I did here. Yeah, I just found that thing, and then I said inside this thing substring. Oh, I think maybe my problem might be here, because what I'm saying is this: I could be subtracting, or rather I could be cutting from here to here rather than from here to here. So let's see. So what should change? We know that we tried to change this thing, so what should really change? So let's come back here. Remember, I removed this part, so now I'm expecting to extract probably from this white space character here all the way, or from this X all the way to before M, which is here. Let's go back. That's what we did here, and then we said we're going to reverse from this value here, this value here, all the way. Oh, we're going to start from 4. Remember, what's going to be inside here is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 3, 2, 1, 0. So that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to substring, or rather remove from 0, which is here, all the way to position, which is 5, which is here. And then we're going to show that word. So now, which means now we should really have inside here rev word. So let's see. Shiko Matlala. Okay, so now we learned something interesting here. The thing changed. Okay, so which means this one here could also be giving us something. So let's try to understand this index of function, this substring function, and also this remove function. So let's see. Returns a new string in which a specified number of character and the current instance begin at a specified position have been deleted. So now what is the count? What is count? Okay, so let's see substring here. Okay, now there's two parts here. We have count, we have length. Now what is the difference between count and length? Let's try to see what is the difference between count and length. That's very cool. What is the difference between count and length? Well, this shouldn't really affect anything, because it's after. What really affects, because remember, we're displaying reverse word, and this guy here, we're done using him, so which means the problem could be happening here. So now instead of, I can just do this. Why do I do -1? Because I'm trying to say, okay, remember how it returned 5, and if I do -1, it might lead me to here. Let's try to see now. Okay, wait, nope. Okay, Shiko Matlala Shiko. Okay, so there's a problem here. So the problem here that we have is that it didn't substring from everything. So we should also include this -1. We should remove this guy here so that it can begin from 0. Okay, I think I see what's going on now. Rev word here is an empty thing, and the end, let me say rev word, and just make it an empty string. Just reset it from the beginning, and let's see what's going on. Because for some reason it seems as though it doesn't substring fine. Okay, it did substring everything here, and it did reverse everything here, as we can see. But why did it reverse what we don't want it to reverse? Okay, so now let's see. Let's understand this one. To the length, it says substring from the starting index, which is 0, to the length, and we said the length ends, so let's put +1 here. Why did I say +1? Shouldn't I say -1? Why do I say -1? So that it can end at 5. Let there be seen. If it give us what's this, index error, index error, let's see. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that seems to be fine. Here we have Chico, Atlala, but then yet again it's removing from the wrong point here. It shouldn't remove from that. Okay, what could I be doing wrong? Okay, and then I'm removing from the sentence, and then I'm saying here sentence and removed position, which is that. What am I doing wrong? How come reverse words? Okay, interesting. Let me create a message box here and just show whatever word, because I want to see what's going on inside as it increments, or rather as it adds characters inside this variable rev word here. Let's see. Shiko Matlala. Okay. It begins straight by adding the word Shiko. Okay, now I think I see what the problem is here. Okay, my problem runs here because it seems as though it adds the word. Let me create another string and call the string word. Okay, let me call the string word, and inside here I'm going to put only word. Okay, and so what that means is that okay, now that's very embarrassing, but it's fine. You know when you play chess and you can see somebody make a mistake and you're like, I can see what you're doing wrong, but you can't tell it. I feel like I'm like that. I have viewers that are seeing this, but they're busy telling me things that I'm doing wrong, but I can't see them. Anyway, so that was the problem that I was doing wrong there. So I guess all of this is fine. So let's see. So which means right now inside rev word we should have only the word Chico reversed. Let's see. Chico Matlaula. Hey, okay, we're gonna. Okay, that's fine. So we're only getting Chico that's being reversed. So which means what we initially wanted to do is working fine. We're extracting this word Chico. Now we're putting it here. Okay, so we're taking the word Chico. Let me just do it here. Inside here we have the word Chico with the space. Then we're putting it inside this word variable. And then we're coming inside this loop here. Then we're reversing this Chico inside the loop. So which means now we're gonna have so which means now we're gonna have this new word which is reversed. Okay, I can remove this guy here. After we reverse the word, we remove Chico. So in other words, we're doing this. Okay, we're doing that. That's in other words, that's what we do. We removed this word Chico. We left with Matlala. So inside the sentence here, we're going to have Matlala. So now we can repeat this process again. And so one of the best ways to do this, I think, is to use a loop. Because remember, it's either I'm going to create another for loop, same thing that I was doing here. It's either I'm going to do that, I think I'm just gonna jump straight into creating a loop. So let me create a loop. How many minutes have I been busy? 35 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna finish right now. So let me create a loop. Okay, so what belongs to the loop? Okay, I know this in position here belongs to the loop. Okay, so let me say position. Let me declare this into 0, and then I can create a simple while loop here. In other words, what I'm trying to say here, I'm trying to say to the compiler, repeat this process until the sentence is empty, which means until the sentence is empty, then there's nothing more to repeat. So now I need to create a suitable statement, or rather suitable condition here. So remember, the sentence here is being taken, and then we're working with a sentence here. Okay, I think when we come to sentence, we remove it. We remove whatever word that we reversed. Okay, I think I need to do this now. Remember, we reverse a word, and then all the words after we reverse this word, we need to take this word, put it, and create a new sentence which has reversed words inside of it. Yeah. So remember, in the first loop, we're gonna have this Chico. Now this Chico will be assigned into this reverse sentence, and then when it comes back again, we will now have Matlala. So now this Matlala is going to be incremented here. But then one thing that I should also be careful of is, I don't know if I'm taking this space character here or not, but I don't think I am. Are we not? It's a problem, because if you don't think, okay, because we're deleting here, okay, so from here we're also removing even the, I think, the white space character. Okay, let's try to understand our functions or our methods correctly so that we can know what's going on. Message box dot show reverse sentence. Okay, let's see. But it's not gonna terminate. It's gonna loop. It's not gonna compile because I didn't put in. No, let's just test for now and see what's going on. Okay. Okay. I'll have Chico Atlala. Okay, so that's the first thing that's happening. We're getting everything right, and then lastly we have Matlala. Okay, fine. But do we have the space as well inside this Matlala? Do we also have the space? Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see what's going on. I think I'll make this not only read only, I'll make this false. And then whatever I work with, I will take it and put it inside this text box here so that we can work with seeing what's going on. Let's copy all of this. Okay, I don't want to put it here. Okay, yeah, well, I'm working with reverse sentence. That text is equals to rev sentence. Okay, so as we can see, it's compiling now. Rather, it's ready. Let's try to see what happened. I'll have Chico Matlala. Okay, I'll have Chico here, Matlala here. Okay, so so it seems like I only took the words, but I didn't take any of the white space character, because if I did, then the white space character should also be inside this thing. So which means I'm removing here what am I removing here? That's a good question. What are we? I think here we're also removing the white space corrector, which is fair. So let's now create a for loop. Amen. I mean, let's create a while loop, not a for loop. Okay, stay right there. So we're saying continue on looping, reverse the process until the string is empty. So we'll have sentence here is empty. Okay, I think that's a good function here. We'll have string is null empty, and then I'll put sentence. Okay, so what does this thing return here? Indicates whether the string is null or empty. So it's a boolean value. I mean, it's a function that returns a boolean value. So in other words, if the string is null or empty, it returns a true, and when the string is not empty, it returns false. So in this case, our string is not empty, right? At this point, our string has words inside. So inside we have Shiko Matlala. So inside here we have Shiko Matlala. Therefore, is the string empty or is it null? False. Now, if it's false, it's not going to terminate. If it's false, it's not going to work. No work. So there we need to say when it's false, make it true. In other words, when this thing is not empty, so it's false. Not false is true. That's what we're doing. And not true is false. It's pretty much what we're doing. So hence I'm using this not symbol here. So we should be reversing this thing over and over and over again. So let's see if it's going to extract everything that we wanted to extract. Shiko Matala. Hey, okay, so it's working. It did enter the loop, the for loop. Okay, but it seems like it's not stopping. Okay, it did stop. It did stop. And the word is here. It did stop, and it reversed exactly the way that we wanted it to reverse. So let's say it's me. Shiko Matala is me. So it seems to be working fine, but it's not adding, what's this, a space. So this is where I'm gonna add a space. And let's try to see it now. Okay, Shiko Matala is my name, right? Okay, so let's see. Shiko Matlala is my name, man. So that works fine. But I hope you notice what I'm doing here. Each time that I'm writing a string here, I'm writing a sentence, I'm also putting this extra space. The reason is because the way this thing works is that it finds a space. After it finds a space, it requests a string, removes it, does whatever it does, delete it. It does the same thing. It finds a space. It finds a space. So which means this white space character is very important in our process. If there's no white space character, things will go wrong. So say that's what it does. So say we write Shiko Matala, and then I just end it here. It should give me an error. Let's try to see if it's going to give me an error. An error. Did it work? Did it stop? What's the problem? Okay, seems to be having an error here. Everything is not working. So now that's the error that we need to remove. How do we make it in such a way that if you don't put the white space character, it's still able to work? So that's what it's telling me, because when it gets here, if it's saying find a white space character here, and it's saying, and it returns a -1. The reason why it's returning a -1 is because there's no white space character here. I mean, in the thing, the text only ends here. And then it says, I'm trying to say substring from 0 to -1, which doesn't make sense now, because here there's no such a thing as -1. That's why it's saying now, well, look, bro, there's a problem. There's an index error somewhere. So to fix this problem, when we when we assign the text that the user has entered, we also create an extra white space. This is to say, if the user does not put any white space character inside. So let's see now. Time is running. I feel like this video is longer than the first one. Shiko Matlala. So it should be fine now because we created an extra white space. Okay, so it's fine. It does what it's supposed to do. It's doing well. So now, what if I put spaces here? Okay, let's remove this. I think it's taking time. What if I put a lot of spaces here? That's another thing that might come. What if I forget to... You see what it's doing? What if I put a lot of spaces? Can I do something to remove these spaces here? Well, I can. I really can remove these spaces. And it's very simple to do that. We can just use a simple trim function. But now here's the deal with the trim function. The trim function, what it does is that it removes the trailing 0. I mean, the leading and the trailing white space character. So if we have a word such as a space here and also a space here, the trim function is going to remove this space, and then it's going to go to the end of the string and remove that space. That's what it's going to do. So we need to be wise in how we use this trim function. But we know this space here could be a problem, because if we can remove all of this thing but leave this one here, then we should be fine, because we need this other space character here. That's our way of working. So we can say trim. Let's see if it's that easy. Okay, so we can say trim removes all leading and trailing white space characters. Let's see. I don't know how to use this function. I've never really looked deeper into it, but then I just want to remember how we said it's going to remove all the leading and the trailing white space characters. So sentence is equals to that, and then what I can then do, as soon as I remove the leading and trailing white space characters, I'm just going to add another white space character to the end so that we can come back to this point here, and then the whole algorithm should be fine. And that's how you can do this. Let's see if it works. Seems like I've got an error. Okay, what could be the problem with my thing now? Okay, still waiting for this guy to finish doing his part. Okay, so what could be the problem? Okay, it's busy calculating the error now. I should be back in a moment. Okay, I'll terminate this thing. Try to see what went wrong. Okay, so remember, without the trim function, everything was fine. That's a good question. What does this thing return? It returns a string, as we can see here. It returns a string. Just like this one also returns a string. This one returns an integer. So which means here we're returning a string, but then the string has been formatted. All these leading and trailing spaces have been removed. So let me run this thing again. Okay. Go. Okay, this thing is not really terminating. I wonder what's the problem. I mean, it's not working. Where could I have done the problem? Sometimes the problem with trying to type fast is that you don't see where your problems could be. Okay, yes, I know that. Okay, it seems like it's not coming back. So we'll remove this trim function here. I'll come back to it. I'll remove the string function and also remove this sentence here because it was working before these guys came into the picture. Then I'll have Shiko Matala. Okay, it works fine. But then now without this, it shouldn't work. It should give us an error saying that this thing does not exist. Okay. Okay. So here I'm going to trim, which means it's gonna cut off all the trailing. Yeah, I think it's fine. So let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Let's add an extra space character here. Okay, yeah, it seems to be fine. I think maybe the problem was that I was putting everything here, and I don't know why it was not working. Shigo Matlala is my name. Joe. Okay, so it works fine. We have the trailing white space character is here, but the leading white space character is not here. So I think it's fine. It seems like it's fine for me. Yeah, it's how you reverse a sentence. Let me I want to show the algorithm very well so that it can be seen, or the code. Yeah, well, that's how it's done. I mean, it's very simple. What I would advise you guys to do is that if you want to be good at this, write it down first. If you can write it down and it works on paper, then you can bring it on the code. The first time that I tried this, it had so many statements. Like, it was very, very long. It was this very long piece of code, and then more time that I wrote it down on paper and tried to analyze exactly what I'm trying to do, it became more simple. So yeah, that's how you reverse a sentence. I was trying to be brief, but then I took 53 minutes. Yeah, I hope that's nice. Yeah, I hope that's nice. So I'll end it here for the day. Cheers, guys.